Hey everybody, how y'all doing? I wanted to give you guys an update. I just saw that they put a new article out about Alexis Trevizo. She was the New Mexico woman that allegedly gave birth in the hospital bathroom secretly and put her newborn baby in a trash bag, hid his body. Um, so I wanted to give you guys an update. Her trial is set, I believe, for September 11th, 2023. So we're right about 30 days out. But there is allegedly a civil lawsuit moving forward. Um, they have hired counsel, her family, and they're planning to sue the hospital. So let me read this article. I've shared it already on my page, so you can check it out. And it's from the New York Post. It's very recent. It's from yesterday, so that would be August the 8th. And this is the title of it. Alexee Trevizo's attorney blames hospital for death of baby found in the trash. The writer was Yaren Steinbuch. Okay, so let's get started. An attorney for Alexis Trevizo, the New Mexico teen who allegedly dumped her newborn in a hospital trash can, has blamed the facility, alleging that the staff gave her drugs that caused the baby's death, according to a new report. Now, if you can recall when I initially did this story on her, this was something that the mom kind of hinted at that they were going to sue the hospital because they felt that the hospital caused the death of the baby. Initially, Alexis is seen on the video in the hospital claiming that there was no life for the baby. The baby did not cry when the baby came out. So I guess that was their reasoning. Um, all babies don't cry when you birth them. Also, I think due to maybe some of the stress, I don't know still how she was able uh, to disconnect the baby from her. Normally, the baby's umbilical cord is cut, severed. So I'm not sure how that happened when she was in the bathroom. And also, they don't know what happened to her placenta. So it was just a lot of things going on in that bathroom with her. No one else was in there with her. She's alleging that because she went in for back pain, she was in severe pain. I guess not aware that she was giving birth or in labor. The hospital gave her normal medication for pain. She did deny that she was pregnant, that she had even had intercourse. So once they took the pregnancy test and it came back positive, she also denied that. But I'll go on, continue. Trevizo, 19, had repeatedly denied her pregnancy and claimed that the infant was stillborn on January 27, but the New Mexico Office of the Medical Investigator eventually ruled the death a homicide and she was criminally charged. So, what happened with that? I'll just recap that piece. She claimed that the baby was not alive. They were able to prove that the baby had oxygen in his lungs. The baby was a boy, he was a full term baby. By her putting the baby in the trash bag and knotting it, that caused him to not be able to breathe, of course. He's lacking oxygen and is basically, um, I don't know if I can say this word on here, but if you don't have oxygen, if you can't breathe, you suffocate. So that's how um, her baby passed away. But her attorney now claims she has been unfairly vilified. Unfairly vilified? Denies she strangled her son to unalive him and is accusing medical staff at Artesia General Hospital of applying her with a cocktail of drugs, including morphine, that unalived the child before the birth. Um, From what was initially reported, they're not giving the levels in here, but from what was initially reported, the levels were very, very low. So the amount of the pain medication was very, very low, would not cause the passing away. And also, they have proven that the child had oxygen in his lungs. So for him to pass away, something had to deprive him of oxygen, which again is placing his body into the bag, tying it so there's no oxygen. It's fairly straightforward. Um, and she was the only person to do that. And she admitted that on video. So I'm not sure how they're going to say that the hospital is not responsible, but they're doing that. And again, as I said in the first video, where is mom? Where is dad? Where is the child's father? Why isn't anyone taking responsibility for this young person, even her taking responsibility for herself? But she's fairly, a young adult, not taking responsibility for having a full term birth. It wasn't that she did not have resources. She was in a hospital, at the hospital, at the time of the birth. She went into a bathroom. She could have sought medical attention and said, "Excuse me, I'm in labor." Or she didn't have to continue to not deny the confirmed pregnancy. I'm sorry, it's getting a little hot. Okay, so let's keep going. The fact is, she did not unalive her baby. The testing that was done to determine that she did is so antiquated that it is medieval, Gary Mitchell told the outlet. There was no um, uh, when you put your hands around someone's neck, they're saying that that did not happen. This is not a unalive case, the attorney said, adding that he will show that the medication Trevizo allegedly received before the staff knew she was about to give birth are inappropriate for pregnant women, particularly those in labor. Well, we know that's not true. They've been giving pain medicine for women in labor. I mean, you need pain medicine. Most women will take pain medicine, will take an epidural. So we know that's not true. Okay. This certainly was the primary cause of unaliving of the baby. Guess what does cause major breathing issues in fetuses? morphine, he told the Daily Mail. Breathing issues, okay. Mitchell claimed a toxicology report shows the baby had 0.19 nanograms of that medication in his system at birth, and that he also tested positive for COVID-19, influenza A and B, and severe acute respiratory syndrome, or SARS, according to the outlet. That sounds like a small amount of medication, it's 0.19. But I'm sure when they go to trial, if the hospital fights this, they will attack all of these statements or claims, allegations. The attorney also reiterated the high school cheerleader's contention that she did not know she was pregnant, even though she had gained weight, which she has blamed on birth control pills. Now, I can recall when I was younger that it was estimated that you could gain about 10 pounds a year on the birth control pills. If you look at some of the pictures of her, especially her cheerleading uniform, because that's kind of a fitted uniform, you can clearly see in that stomach region that she does appear to be several months, like third trimester in a pregnancy. Um, if she thought she was gaining weight, why is the weight only in that region? There's no major area that's growing besides the stomach area. Also, she had to know she was actively engaging in, that. So I don't really understand why no one knew. Her mom, maybe the cheerleading coach? Did she talk to any friends about it? What about the father, the boyfriend? What kind of conversations was had? Can they get any text messaging records? Was there ever a pregnancy test purchased? I mean, she looks pretty far. Um, I know when I was pregnant with my daughter, that's how I looked at about 8, 9 months. So I'm not sure how no one seen her. Did she live with her parents? Was she living in a group home or a foster home? It appears that she was living with her mother. When they went to arrest her, she was living with her mother, and that was about 4 months later. So I don't understand that. But maybe some more information will come out. So let's keep going. Women will say to me she gained 10 or 15 pounds, so she must have known. But she was on her cycle when she went into the hospital, he told the outlet. Scientifically, 1 in 2,500 women do not know they are pregnant when they deliver. 1 in 2,500. Okay, especially teenagers, but she was not a teenager. We're not going to call her a teenager. No, she was 19 years old. She is considered and is legally an adult. She's not a teenager. She's a young adult, yes, not a teenager. She went to McDonald's every day with her boyfriend. She thinks putting on the weight is normal. She was taking birth control and had a cycle. She didn't feel kicking. She didn't feel sick. Again, she did not know that she was active with her boyfriend or with another person. I just don't understand this in 2023. Why would she think she was pregnant? He added. Mitchell described to the outlet what he claimed his client was administered at the hospital in a timeline. On January 26th, she goes to the hospital and arrives at 12:03 a.m. By 12:05 a.m., she is admitted. So she gets to the hospital. She's quickly admitted by the hospital. 2 minutes, that's really, really fast. At 12:18, they start giving her muscle relaxants, he said. So in about a 13-minute period from being admitted, being taken back, put on a hospital gown, she expressed to them what is wrong with her. She's in pain. So allegedly, they give her a muscle relaxer. At 12:28 a.m., which is about 10 minutes later, they give her medication that starts with an M. And they also give her more pain medication. That continues for 111 minutes. So I'm guessing they put her on an IV to help with the pain. They give her ketorolac, which you are not meant to give to P women, and ondansetron for nausea. But at that time, they did not know that she was P. So she didn't disclose that. Actually, later on, when they tested her, she denied it. Okay, moving forward. Ketorolac is a non-steroidal anti-inflammatory medication used to treat pain. NSAIDs have the potential for causing fetal cardiovascular adverse reactions, according to the National Institutes of Health. Ondansetron is prescribed during pregnancy to help with symptoms of nausea and vomiting, the NIH said. They give her cyclobenzaprine, a muscle relaxer, acetaminophen, and the M word, which you are definitely not meant to give during labor. At 12:28 a.m., she's given the M word and blood test. By 12:51 a.m., they knew she was P. Mitchell added, at 1:39 a.m., she enters the bathroom. Okay, so that's like a big jump. So I'm not sure when they tested her and if this is an accurate timeline, because there's like a 50-minute jump in time. So they're saying that she knew she was pregnant by 12:51 a.m. At 1:39 a.m., she enters the bathroom. They had removed the IV so she could go to the bathroom. So there's a difference in time. What made her get up to go to the bathroom? Trevizo has been. So are they missing the point where they told her she was pregnant? They're saying that they knew she was, but they're not putting in the part where they told her she was pregnant and she denied it. That part is like gone. I guess her attorney is not acknowledging that the hospital told her that she was pregnant, but the attorney is not disclosing that here, but they told her that she was, and she denied it. And she said that the blood was from her period, that she was getting her period in the hospital, but actually she was in labor. So I'm not sure why her attorney is just skipping over that timeline, but they definitely told her in the hospital that she was pregnant and she denied it. Um, yeah, so I'm not sure about that, but let's keep going. Trevizo has been charged with murder or alternatively abusing a child resulting in death and tampering with evidence after secretly delivering the boy in the hospital bathroom. In legal filings obtained by the Daily Mail, Mitchell also claims hospital staff and city workers violated HIPAA laws by sharing his client's medical records and discussing the case. Okay. That the hospital staff and city workers violated HIPAA laws by sharing his client's medical records and discussing the case, but with whom? Who are they alleging that the hospital staff and the city workers did that with? Are they saying that the fact that when they were in the room, they had to disclose to her that her actions of trying to hide the baby's birth by concealing the baby, by putting him in the trash can, that they had to get the police involved? Is that what they're referring to when they say they violated her HIPAA laws with her medical records? Because if it appears to be a crime, they're required to call the police. When the police arrive, they have to give the police details about what has happened. So the police aren't going to wait until she gets discharged from the hospital to then go and see about what has happened. They have to go now. This is an emergency situation where they feel a crime has occurred. They have evidence that they have to collect. They have people they have to interview. They could have possibly tried to detain her, not so much arresting her, but trying to talk to her to let her know that this is under investigation. So I'm not sure who her attorney is alleging that the hospital staff and the city workers violated her HIPAA laws by sharing her medical records. This is all related to her giving birth, having a newborn. How else could they convey to the police what was going on? See, that's a criminal allegation. So they have to disclose that there was a birth, there is a death, there is a newborn baby that we found deceased. When we confronted her, we were concerned. We're concerned about her health. Of course, the baby's health. If the baby was alive, could we treat the baby? Could we give any medical attention to the baby? Also with her, can we treat her? Can we give her any needed medical condition as someone that's just had birth? Is she physically okay, medically okay? So they have to convey that information to the police when they arrive. I'm not sure why that's even there, but we'll just go on. The teen who was admitted earlier in the day with back pain aroused suspicion when she locked herself inside for a long time. Body camera footage from the night of the birth reveals. Nurses eventually opened the door to a bloody scene, which doctors initially believed was Trevizo trying to terminate her pregnancy before a custodian noticed the body of the newborn inside the trash. So initially, there were reports that when she went to the restroom, to the bathroom, which was not in, she didn't go to the bathroom that was inside. If she had a bathroom inside her room, she went to a bathroom that she had to walk to. And she was able to get behind that closed door, give birth, somehow detach the umbilical cord from her, and then she did something with the placenta, possibly flushed it down the toilet. I'm not sure. But the reports are that there was a bloody area, that there was blood everywhere, and they kept knocking on the door, asking her to open the door. And eventually, about 20 minutes in, she did open the door. So let me see, I have something here. IMO, they violated HIPAA laws by allowing her mother to be in the room the whole time they were trying to examine her and asking her if she was sure she wasn't pregnant. Well, I guess that's possible. There's if she didn't give consent for her mom to be there. I'm not sure if there was ever consent made. Lexi was legally an adult. Her mother didn't have to be there. I truly believe if her mother wasn't there over her shoulder, she would have admitted to staff she was pregnant but didn't want the baby. Well, I think that she did feel some pressure, Cloud Z. I think that she did feel some pressure from her mom being in the room. She could have told hospital staff she wasn't comfortable with her mom being there. I can't even say that she didn't want the baby. I think, and I said this kind of in a prior video, that a lot of the younger people feel a lot of pressure. Um, I'm not sure how she was raised, but sometimes it's not looked well if you have a child when you're younger. So that's why I always encourage parents, talk to your kids. I wouldn't call them a sin. A baby is a blessing, but everyone does not feel like that, right? So I think that she may have felt a certain amount of pressure with her mom being in the room, and even just being there allowed her to kind of deny the pregnancy, because I don't think she wanted her mother to know that she was active with her boyfriend. So that was pretty hard. But I can't say that she did not want the baby. I don't think she really um, accepted the pregnancy, being pregnant. I think that she was in denial. Some parts of her was in denial about being pregnant. But I'm not going to go as far as to say that she didn't want the baby. I think that the stress, maybe any potential embarrassment, any possible anger from her mother or both her parents, that also caused a certain amount of stress where she was overwhelmed. She was overwhelmed, and I think that's part of why she had the baby in secret. She's in a hospital. She could have had a normal birth and then possibly gave the baby to a family member, or maybe she could have resolved things with her mother or parents, or adoption. But that didn't happen because of the fear of her. Well, her mother was there, but the fear of it coming out, that she had hid this pregnancy, all of that caused stress on her. That's what I feel, Cloudy. That's my opinion. Okay. But we can't say that um, the hospital and the staff violated her HIPAA laws. We don't know if her mom bringing her to the hospital, coming into the hospital with her, that they needed the consent for her to be in the room. They may have even asked her, is it okay for your mom to be in here? And she may have said yes. Again, if you feel pressured, if you feel stressed, if you feel like you can't say no, because you do have a right to privacy. But we can't just assume that that didn't happen. I don't know, and you don't know unless you work there and you have the records. But We can't just assume that her mother did not have consent to be in that space. At least I'm not going to assume that because I don't know. Um, and I didn't see the little video that they have. It was never discussed about her mom being there or removing her mom or even asking her, can her mom be here or stay here? She could have asked for her mom to be removed at any time if that's what she chose. She could have stated that at any point because technically and legally she's an adult. Okay, so let me keep reading. Okay, so nurses eventually opened the door to a bloody scene, which doctors initially believed was Trevizo trying to terminate her pregnancy before a custodian noticed the body of the newborn inside the trash. So the housekeeping staff, the cleaning staff, they found the baby. When they were cleaning the blood from her being in the bathroom, by them noticing so much blood, initially they thought she was trying to terminate the pregnancy. With the cleaning staff going in and cleaning and wiping things down, checking the trash, that's how the body of the baby was discovered. It was not because Trevizo went back and said, I just gave birth. I just had a baby. I need help. I believe when she came out of the bathroom, they have a video of her even walking past either a nurse or a doctor, someone that worked for the hospital that had on scrubs. She never tried to get the baby any medical attention. She did not say she even had a baby. Now, when the hospital staff confronted her, she did admit what she did. However, she never sought any help, any attention. Even if she thought the baby was a stillbirth that he didn't have any life to him, she could have tried to seek some medical attention to help him, to get him some aid. So let's keep going. And thank you for those 2 comments, Cloudsy. The young woman has been described as a master manipulator who even named the baby Alex before unaliving him. Her former classmates have alleged. Okay, well, as far as this part of the article, if this is true and she had a classmate that said she had named the baby, that's acknowledging that she knew she was pregnant. Now, I'm not going to go that far and agree with that because I don't know. I don't know when they don't provide a name, some type of follow-up contact where you can confirm this is a statement from a classmate. I don't know if they want it to be anonymous, but I'm not going to go as far as saying that she's a master manipulator. I'm not going to go as far as supporting a comment like that. The fact that they say she named the baby and all of that, I think what would be helpful is if they're going to put a comment like that in, that they would state the person's name. They're saying a classmate, so they went to school together, what school, what year. I think they would need some more details to make a bolder statement like that. The last part of this, we're getting to it. She knew she was pregnant and hid it from almost everyone. She told me she had just gained weight because she was on the pill, one ex-classmate told the Daily Mail. So I don't know if this is 2 different people or the same person, but there is a statement that say that she knew she was pregnant and hid it. And then she said she had just gained weight. So it sounds like there's some denial going on. Either way, we can't change what happened, right? Now, if these people want to come in, they want to testify, if they have anything in writing, like a text message, something that can confirm what they're writing, that would be probably most helpful. Maybe something on social media or a text message, because I think there was some denial when she said that there was nothing there was no life. And that's why I guess she felt she could put him in the trash, or she put him in the trash. I don't know her mindset, but I definitely feel when people hide stuff, when they do things in secret, it's because they know it's wrong. So I think even though she may have been in denial about the pregnancy, I also feel like she know her actions was wrong, and that's why she did it behind the bathroom door. And then she didn't say that the baby was born or that the baby needed help or the baby couldn't breathe. Um, I think she was aware of her actions, and that's why she tried to hide the birth. Um, it says Mitchell could not be reached at his office on Tuesday, so I guess that's the attorney that's handling the civil case. They say a spokesperson for Artesia General Hospital did not immediately respond to a request for comment by the Post. I'm not sure how many comments the hospital would make at this point, or the doctors, or the nurse, or the staffing, or the housekeeping, because if there's a civil case and then, of course, the criminal case, they probably should not be doing interviews or responding to the news. We would have to wait for her criminal case to move forward, which would be in September of 2023. And then for this civil action, I'm not sure if it's filed. I know her mom was hinting at that back in May of 2023, that there would be some type of civil action against, I guess, the hospital or doctors or the staff. So I'm sure nobody is going to be making any public comments, um, at this time. So let me read what Cloud Z has added. With that much blood in the restroom, does anybody else think that maybe hospital security should have been called? I would think so. Me personally, I've worked in a hospital before in the past, and if there was an issue um, that would have appeared to be something like, um, I won't call this scene a disturbing scene, but if I'm seeing blood, if I'm seeing, I guess, something that I would consider to be abnormal, not just droplets of blood, maybe on the toilet or the floor. If you have an accident, you don't properly clean up or you don't notice it. But with the level of blood, I'm not even sure if maybe security would be who you would call. I would say you would want to call, as the hospital did, the doctors and nurses, to get them to come in, to talk to her, to examine her, to ask her what is going on, what happened in the bathroom. Can you explain to us? You were in there for a long time. What were you doing? And maybe security could just be there just to show a certain level of seriousness. But I feel like in this setting, by her being in the hospital, being a patient, that it was more important for her to be seen by hospital staff, senior staff, a doctor, a nurse, also checking to see, um, her female parts, to see if everything was as she said it was, which was a period cycle, because you're getting a positive pregnancy result. So maybe now we need to do blood work and check your hormone levels to see if you are pregnant or were pregnant, and see if those levels go down. If, for example, you were pregnant and you experienced a loss of a child through miscarriage, etc., other means, your hormone levels will start going down. Now, that might take some time, but that's just another option. So I'm not sure about security, but I definitely feel like it would have been important for her, as the staff properly did, came in to examine her and to talk to her. Okay. So thank you for those great questions, and just engaging me. Um, I just wanted to follow up with her case. Her trial is set to start next month. So I guess we have to keep watching, see what goes on in the future and where it's headed. Now, the civil case, I'm not sure if it's filed yet or not, because they've been kind of hinting at it. And maybe they want to kind of see where the criminal case is going to go. I mean, these are two different matters altogether. I feel if she does a plea or if she is convicted by jury, or if she has a judge hear her case. I'm not sure how that would fare with her civil case. If she's convicted, that's not going to look good. But again, they still have to go through those steps um, of discovery in the civil side to proceed with that. Um, I'm not sure even how, I guess she could do it from prison, maybe through Zoom or something, if they're calling her as a witness. But I'm sure the important thing is the times, interviewing the doctors, the nurses, the staff, housekeeping, whoever discovered the infant's body, what they did to try to save the body, the autopsy report on the infant that would show um, his levels, um, that would also show if he had oxygen in his lungs, as they said, different things like that. So I think we just have, in this case, we're going to have to keep watching. Whether it moves forward civilly or not, the criminal case is definitely moving forward. I would not be surprised if they offered her some type of plea deal, because in this instance, I do not feel that she should be spending 30 years in prison. Should she definitely take responsibility? And maybe if she took responsibility in a different way, more in the beginning, then maybe something else could have been worked out. Um, I don't want to say involuntary manslaughter, but a lower charge, not first degree murder, maybe second degree murder, with some factors, some mitigating factors. Her age. Um, Even though she is an adult and she's 19, I'm not sure how mature she was. She still was in high school. So maybe she would fall into some mitigating circumstances where you do want to consider her age, not just her age as a number, but her mindset, her ability to comprehend, understand what was happening to her. And I also feel like she did have some issues that maybe she was operating more so out of fear, and not that she did not want to have the baby or the pregnancy. The fact that she hid it, she may have not just felt comfortable disclosing that to her family. Maybe their expectations for her would be different. Maybe they couldn't see her having a baby at this age and just coming out of high school. So all those things considered, I think she does have some mitigating circumstances, something that if the judge has um, some leeway, maybe he could do something about a sentencing for her. Um, I don't know. So let's see. Cloud Z has another comment. She said, as a true crime fanatic, I'm following this story closely. Um, you know, I really don't like to look into stories like this. Um, the reason that I do stories like this is because I want people to know that there are other options, right? This happened, but it didn't have to happen. There are literally families that want a newborn baby. Even if she wanted to keep her baby, great. That's great. She would just be a young mother starting out with a newborn child. And of course, everybody's going to learn along the way. But if there was other options available, maybe she didn't know. Maybe her parents would have opened up to the idea, or her mom would open up to the idea of being a grandma, or maybe not. That's okay. There's homes where people want babies. They definitely want newborn babies. And if not, their systems, unfortunately, the foster care system is not the best in the United States. However, that is an option. Or alternatively, maybe a family or relative would be willing to help, as a support system, help as she went to school, or her mom, it's ways to figure things out. The reason I'm doing the story, and the reason I have done stories like this, is because I want people to know that this is not an option. Discarding a child is not an option to not being a parent. It's not. It doesn't have to be, but it's not. It should not be an option. when you can go places. You can go to the hospital, you can go to a fire department, police department, and leave a baby if that's what you choose to do and walk away. But we don't want to have these instances where a baby is harmed, a baby is unalive. Um, it doesn't have to be like that here. So that's why I do these stories. These stories, they don't interest me at all. Stories like this, they're the saddest cases, they're the hardest cases. It's very difficult for law enforcement, it's very traumatic for anybody involved. So if you have to do an autopsy on a newborn baby, if you're the medical examiner, you're the forensic pathologist, and they're bringing in a newborn baby, if those officers have to come to a scene, that's why it kind of upsets me when they want to express how an officer didn't handle this or that. Nobody has any idea of the day in and day out crime scenes that they have to go to every day. And this is just one of them. And picking up those small babies, it's the hardest thing. It's the most difficult part of that job. And trying to give an infant an autopsy, that's why I'm here to do this. So we don't have to keep having these stories. Look at this girl, she's 19 years old. We have to know the difference between right and wrong. This is something that you learn at a very young age. We all know the difference. I don't think one person can agree that what happened was right and there wasn't other options, particularly when you're at the hospital. Say, for example, the baby was not alive, right? None of this would even be an issue. Maybe her parents would be upset, or maybe her mom would be upset that she didn't disclose to them that she was pregnant having a baby. But none of this would be an issue. They would be able to confirm it, and they would have a funeral and the passing of a newborn child. But when you take the step and you conceal it, that is a crime. It's not a mistake. It's action, it's intention behind that. And that's what's the sad, unfortunate part. It could have just been a funeral for a newborn that passed away versus now this 19-year-old not even having a chance to live, decide to go to college, make decisions, go into her life in the future, make future plans, goals. Her path has completely changed, but it was all due to a bad decision. And we all make them, but some decisions are a lot worse than others, right? Some things we can't take back. This thing right here, she's got to be accountable. This time, I'm not going to say it was the nurses or the doctors. I put this responsibility squarely on her, and then I'm also going to look at her mom. And I might take a little look at the school because it seems that if you're in school every day, you're in cheerleading, and all of this weight gain in this region, and no one's saying, "Hey, what's going on with you? Are you okay? Gained a lot of weight there." You know, we have to be looking out, caring for each other. So, you know, where is the redemption? This is just something that will be a regret. I love it when I can see a redemption in cases because you can learn from mistakes and we all make mistakes, right? So when you grow and you learn it, you figuring out life. But this one right here, she can't really redeem herself. Now, could she have come forward? Could she have said, you know what? I made a big mistake. I regret this. I am sorry. Now, would it change the outcome? There's still been a criminal act. However, when you come with a humbling spirit, I believe they would not be charging her with first degree murder. That's why I feel that she could get a plea deal for something less. I don't want to see her spend all of her 20s, some of her 30s in prison. I would hope that one day she would be able to come out and have a chance at life. Not the life that she thought she was going to live, because this time right here, you can't recoup any of that back. You can't get any of that time back. Mostly all her 20s, part of her 30s. The chance is that hopefully she can come out and have a chance at some pursuit of life, happiness. But I also feel like we have to balance the weight of those skills. And for her actions, there's going to be a accountability. She doesn't get to make this type of decision, taking a life, and not be held responsible. But do I feel like it should be 30 years, 20 years? No. Do I feel like there should be some responsibility? Yes. Maybe even some kind of programming where she goes in for a set number of years, and then there will be like a supervision where she comes back into the community. Maybe on an ankle bracelet or something, just something that she can learn from. Not that she's going to gain a lot of skills in prison, but what I'm saying, pay back that debt to society. So I'm going to keep watching Cloud Z. It sounds like you're going to keep watching because you're interested. I am not interested in telling this type of story. Absolutely not. The saddest stories, the saddest situations, the most difficult um, cases for investigators, for medical examiners, for the prosecutor, even for her defense attorney. It's hard. It's very, very difficult, challenging. So I don't find any interest in cases like this, but I do it because it's important. You want to always make sure that people know this is not a choice. This is not an answer. And that's why we have to hold people accountable when they make these choices so that it reflects, it mirrors back to the community that this is not an option. We do not want to start finding newborns, younger children unalive. We don't need a pattern of that. Okay. So seems like we should have a moment, maybe just a little moment of silence. And we're going to reset. We're going to move forward. We're going to continue to work every day to get these positive messages out that there are other options, to things that you can do to receive help, to receive support. There are agencies that are willing to help to transition you from um, having that responsibility to fully taking that child. And maybe there needs to be more programs to help, to help. We don't want that to be an option. Okay. So let's try to revisit this when the trial starts and see if that moves forward or if there will be some type of plea deal offered. I think in this case, it's appropriate. I think I would definitely support some type of plea deal so that she doesn't have to relive this trauma. Her family don't have to relive this trauma because all in all, she's hurting. She's hurting. You can see it. You can see it in her pictures. She's hurting. This is something psychologically that she's going to have to deal with. So, um, Cloud Z said, I agree. This is so sad. She is an ignorant teenager who made a big mistake, terrified of disappointing her family and ruining her image. I think that and overall it was fear. And I've seen it before. I've worked with uh, kids for over a decade, and um, I've seen family relationships, how parents relate to their kids. You see some positive relationships, you see some that are not so. And in this case, I do feel that this affected her decision. I am not at all blaming or trying to put any responsibility on the family, community, her parents, anything like that. But I'm just saying, in how you deal with your kids, how you communicate, how you express support, or how you express disappointment, it can make a big difference. And I think in her instance, it was several things operating in her brain. It was the fear of how the parents or her mom would respond. I think that she was not mentally prepared to be a mother. I think that she was in denial about the pregnancy. I think that whatever relationship she had with the father, she also was not wanting to reveal the intimacy part of the relationship. Maybe it was important to her family or her mom. Maybe they put some values out there that you don't want to do that without marriage or, of age, whatever. There's some things operating there behind the scenes that could get someone so in fear, so stressed, that they feel kind of like they don't know what to do. So she was definitely, I called it in the prior video, like disconnected. She really wouldn't refer to the baby as the baby. She said, well, there was nothing going on there. Like there was no movement, no crying. So she was kind of disassociating herself from the birth, from the baby. But I think that all plays into where her mindset was. And that's the other thing, again, we want to make sure that we're building our kids up, that we're communicating. Not that they're not going to do things and make mistakes. They do. They do. I'm a parent. You know, they do. But it's all in how we handle things, how we deal with things. Sometimes as parents, we don't have all the answers. There's no book to parenting, right? So sometimes we even have to step back, take a step back, maybe think about it, maybe give some space, maybe not even respond at the time that things are presented. Maybe we need to think about it. Maybe we need to assess, how can we move forward? What can we do next? What are our options? If that conversation was had, or if it was triggered or initiated by either her mom, or whoever, maybe we would have a totally different outcome. Maybe they'd be celebrating 6 months of her baby right now. We just don't know. We don't know. And unfortunately, as I said, there's no redemption in this because, like in the other case that I talked about a little bit, her child, someone found her baby. Her baby is alive, and I'm sure at some point it's possible that he may want to reconnect with his mother if he finds out that the people that are raising him is not his biological mother or parents, right? And she's expressing she loves her baby, and she don't want the baby to feel like she doesn't love him, and she have hopes, that he will grow up not thinking that about their first, times. So there is regret, and she possibly can change and redeem that relationship. But in this case, unfortunately, she can go through God and ask for forgiveness, and I know that He will give it to her. That's something that she has to do. She has to come to that. She has to acknowledge, admit the mistakes that she made to God, and He will forgive her. Clousy said, I will use this story as an example to teach my own children that if they are ever in trouble, feel that they cannot tell me about it, at least have confidence to tell the police or hospital staff. Clousy, when I saw the video of her when she came out of the bathroom and she literally had just walked past somebody that was in hospital medical scrubs. And I'm thinking, wow, that could have been a doctor or a nurse or just a medical assistant, somebody. She could have grabbed them. Hey, can you help me? I just gave birth in the bathroom. Can you come and help me? I think it's a great idea for you to share this with your children. I usually do the same with my daughter. I try to show her, not just talking to her, but I try to show her some of these cases because it's age appropriate. She's at the proper age to kind of have this kind of discussion, but also to let her know, listen, if you were to get pregnant, that's fine. If you want to have your baby and be a mom, I'm okay with it. It's not my decision. It's your decision. It's your life. I believe you should have your child. However, I will not press that on you because that's your commitment, your responsibility. Of course, me as your mom, I would help you. I would support you. Your dad would help you and support you. But it's your decision, right? But I always try to keep that communication open and I let her see some of the choices that other people make. And these are mistakes. But some of these are big mistakes. This isn't a little one, and you forget about it in a week. This is one that's going to carry with you probably for the rest of your life, right? And that's why it's also important for the forgiveness from God so that you're not carrying it as um, any stress or, you're not torturing yourself, you're not reliving it, you're not carrying so much regret and sadness. No, you made a mistake, albeit big. We all make mistakes. We all commit all types of sin, but we have to move forward. And we're forgiven. It's in the past, and we move forward. Now, that doesn't mean that you don't have issues and something could come up later. This is gonna, follow this young lady for a while, but it doesn't mean her life is over. You may be able to take this difficulty that you had and share with others. Share your life experience with other women, other people. Let them know this is not the answer. This is not the right thing to do. This is a mistake. I made a mistake and I regret it. I wish I had never done that. And if I had a chance, I would do something different. That's the message that needs to come out of this. Come forward with that platform. I want to hear you, like that redemption I was talking about. I want to hear you forecast in the future a different way and let people hear it and see it. That's what I want for this young lady. I wish her the best, her and her family. I really, really do. It's such a sad story. And it's no winners. None. None. Absolutely none. But as we know, some of the hardest times, the toughest times we go through, we can use that later, right? We can use that to propel us to something greater. And this may be just that for her. Don't let this be the end. Don't let this be the end of your story that someone else is telling. Because you have a story, young lady. Whether you know it or not, you can speak to people that can relate to you, because I can only imagine what you were going through in a home or in an environment, or having someone having access to you and you cannot be yourself. That you have to change, you have to mold yourself, to be accepted. And maybe you're in a situation where the other person doesn't know. Some people have overpowering personalities, you know. So it's a lot of lessons to be learned out of this, but not just her. It is a mirror to the community, to me, to you, to everybody. We can all learn something from this. Clousy said her mom even told her, Lexi, I talked to you about this. Do you know what happens to these girls who unalive their babies? Her mom had an idea. She should have let Lexi talk to the nurses in private. You know what? I actually heard that on the video, that she said, I talked to you about this. So it did appear that this was something that the mom may have brought up and had a conversation. I don't want to say question her, but I did hear her say that. So her mom may have had an inkling, right? She may have had an inkling that she was pregnant. And the sad part is how difficult it is to take that next step. Sometimes people struggle with communication. Sometimes people just aren't truthful about things because, like, again, the fear, the inability to have a conversation with a person. How are they going to respond? Are they going to be upset? Are they going to be upset with me? How are they going to handle me? So sometimes you see how she was kind of cowering down, and she kind of like almost shrunk. So we know it's some dynamics there between mom and daughter in the relationship, right? We see that. We can see that. And I did also hear that too, which is also um, pretty hard, because you have to then take that next step. Because kids will tell you no, and it's true. So you can't just accept their no. You have to, take the next step. Go get a pregnancy test. Go take her to her pediatrician. Um, if they have like a Planned Parenthood, go and have her take a test there. Maybe talk to someone that can relate to her more, but she's be more comfortable. Carly says, you're right. I hope she has a chance one day to talk to teen girls about their options. I think this will be a great platform for her. I really do. I think that her experience, and I don't even want to call it her experience, we have to still remember she lost a child. So as we're watching this case unfold, this is her real life happening before our eyes at the age of 19. Picture plastered across the country. It was in my news feed. I was not looking for her case. I knew it was coming up, but I was not looking for that headline. And if the New York Post has it, it's a headline, right? So hopefully she can turn this part into a platform where she's able to go out and talk from her own experience. It's nothing like your own experience. No one can negate that. No one can diminish that. This is something that she's going through, and she's going to go through for some time. And we want her to come out on the other side. We don't want her to um, be in prison for 20 years, 15 years. This may be something that she can use to help some other people, especially youth, the youth. Okay. So thank you, Cloudy. Thank you so much for all your comments. I just want to thank everybody for jumping on here, or rewatching this video whenever you can. I just wanted to highlight this because they did post it, and it's an update. Not a lot of new information, but it seems like they're going to move forward on a civil case. And, anybody can file a civil case against somebody else. So the main important thing is, we want to wish her well. We want her to be okay and to be able to take the steps going forward to somehow have redemption in the future. So we wishing her, her family, the community well, and we can only hope the best for her. So I want to say that. And I just want to thank you for watching this video. Check out some of my other videos if you have time. And I just wish you all the best. All my friends out there in across the country, sending love and light. Okay, friends? So take care, be well, be savvy, smart, and safe. Okay? Good night. Bye. Bye, Cloudsy.